It's like we never left.
Like we never left. Oh my goodness. Welcome back to the Crouch Hatter podcast, everybody. That's Mitch. I'm Jacob. Mitch is completely frozen on my end, so that's fun. As long as he's not frozen on your guys' end, that's what matters.
Right.
We're back for week 18, the final week of the regular season for our NFL picks. NFL's actually been pretty profitable for me this year. I've had a good football season. Both my fantasy leagues, I made the championship, including our league in which I won it. So humble brag, I know. But
A humble.
you were
brag,
looking
right.
good. Humble brag. You were looking good until Joe Burrow went out, and then you lost the final week to Calvin, who hadn't won an entire game all year.
Oh, did I lose? I stopped paying attention once I missed the playoffs. I'm gonna be real honest.
I figured. I figured you didn't care, but that was really funny. I think Zay Flowers had a huge game. That's why for Calvin.
Oh.
Sam's not here, but I ended up playing him in what was probably one of the most stressful championship matches I've ever been a part of. 98-96.
Really? Wow.
All right. Yeah, it was 98-96, and he had Aaron Jones drop 14, and it was Addison done nothing, and they're running the clock out, and I'm like, oh gosh, they're running the clock out. But when they're running the clock out, they go but to their fourth string running back, and I'm like, hallelujah. Aaron Jones isn't getting any more touches. I'm fine. It was like the last 2 minutes of the game was when I knew that I had won. That's how close it was.
I'll just forever remember the year where it was the two of us in the championship, and you had Alvin Kamara go up with like a 60-pointer that's out of absolutely nowhere.
It ruined half.
Really?
It ruined a bunch of people's Christmases. It made my Christmas the best ever. I've won our league twice. That was the only other time was with Alvin Kamara, and that was
I
great.
still nearly won.
Anyway.
That was the crazy part.
I know you still nearly won without, because that's just Alvin Kamara put stuff up, but everybody else did nothing. This week, Jahmyr Gibbs, Gibbs did nothing for me this week, but Laporta got like 10 points on that garbage time drive where they were just letting Laporta catch everything and let the Lions get down the field. I literally was the reason I won too. It was crazy. But we've got teams that are looking to lock up playoff spots. I don't know all of the scenarios, but I do know some of them. So I'm sure Mitch knows and will help me out with some of them.
I will for sure.
Okay. Well, we go to our first game Saturday. We've got the Steelers, who have, again, Mike Tomlin has sold his soul to the devil to be able to make sure that he can get a winning season every single year, despite how bad their offense is. And they'll be going on the road to the Ravens, who have looked unstoppable, but with how much injury luck the Ravens have had the past few years, I feel like they're not going to play their starters very much.
They are resting a lot of starters in that game. Lamar Jackson's not playing.
I was about to say it's a chance to knock your divisional rival out of the playoffs, but even if they win, they're not guaranteed to go in. So, should be an interesting game. I think Steelers put all they have into it, and it's hard because the Ravens are the way better team, but they're not playing anybody. But I think the backups of the Ravens could beat the Steelers. But I'll give it to the Steelers. I'll give it to that defense. I say they eke out a win. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs because I think a couple things would have to go their way. But I think they can beat the Ravens, second units. They've looked impressive but that's the thing with the Steelers. 1 week they'll look super impressive, and 1 week you'll just be like, what the crap am I watching?
Yeah, Steelers are a very weird team because, like you said, no matter how good or how bad Pittsburgh might be, they somehow always find a way to have a above 500 season, and no one understands how in the world it's even possible. But this is what Pittsburgh does. They find ways to make it happen. Mike Tomlin somehow carries them to a above 500 season every single year, and everybody else wants to know how it's done. As we go through, I do have Sam's pick as well. So I'll be filling those in as we go along. So his pick for this one is also going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers, as he has them taking down the Baltimore Ravens, who have officially locked up the number one overall seed. As for the Steelers, obviously their playoff hopes are very much in doubt. Um, I don't know if they necessarily get into the postseason just straight up with a win. I think they need
No,
more.
I think they need Buffalo specifically to lose, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, because I have the ESPN thing up. They would need, well, there's like a billion scenarios, but really the most likely one would be them winning and then either the Bills or the Jags losing.
Yeah, because I don't know if they hold a tiebreaker over the Jags, but I know they lost to both the Texans and the Colts. So whoever wins that game is an automatic in, if
Over
I'm not
the
mistaken, right?
Steelers. Yeah, winner of Colts Texans is well, pretty much the loser's done and the winner's in. So it's basically a playoff game in that one. But
Yes. So yeah, their easiest scenario is a win with the Ravens and a loss to the Dolphins.
yeah, that would be probably the most likely. Like we said, we mentioned the Jacksonville one, but since they're playing the Titans,
Jacksonville
I
too.
don't really think that one's all that likely. But for
Which
this
I'll
one,
just mention the
go ahead.
fact that the Bills can either the fact that the Bills can either get the 2 seed or miss the playoffs entirely is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
That is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
But I'm giving this one to the Ravens just because even, as of right now, all I know of that is not playing this game really is Lamar Jackson. That's the only starter I know of that's just being rested. Everybody else is either just hurt or is just simply playing. And even then, Tyler Huntley is still a really good quarterback. And I think that's the Ravens overall are just simply a better team. They're also at home. I don't think the Steelers are really good enough to win, even if they don't have Lamar Jackson. I mean, Baltimore's played without Lamar several times and has still easily been able to win. So and with the opportunity of knocking out your division rival from the playoffs is, an opportunity in and of itself. I think the Ravens play motivated and they knock them off at home.
Hmm. Yeah, so yeah, it should be a fun game. We move to the next one, which is, I did double confirm, is a win and in scenario. You'll have the Houston Texans taking on the Indianapolis Colts in Indy. Indy is a 51% chance to win. They are favored by, or no, Houston is actually 1.5 point favorite. Over under is 47.5. Indianapolis with a win would clinch a playoff berth. With a win and a Jacksonville loss or tie, Indy would actually take the division. Houston takes the division just with a straight up win. So basically, looks like they're pretty much fighting for the division unless Indy wins. Indy would need the Jaguars to lose. Houston just needs to win. So now that CJ Stroud is back, I think I'm on the same thing. I'm gonna lean in favor Houston in this game. Stroud, when he's healthy, has looked phenomenal. I think Stroud's back, right? I hope I'm not sounding really stupid right now.
No, Stroud is playing. Yeah, he's back.
That's what I thought. I thought he'd come back. I thought he'd come back already. Will Anderson would be a big one too to come back. I don't know if he's been that good. Haven't followed the specifics that much of the NFL, but this should be a very fun game. It's going to be a very close one. I do think Houston ekes it out though and takes the South. Which, if you told me Houston was going to win the AFC South at the beginning of the season, I would have called you a lunatic. So, congratulations, Houston.
I think pretty much everybody would. It's been a fantastic season for both teams. Sam has the Houston Texans taking this one, but it's been a great season. It's been a great season for both of these teams. I mean, these two teams had the number 2 and number 4 picks in the NFL draft a year ago, respectively. That's how bad these two were. They both have first-year head coaches, and they're both 9-7. It really is quite impressive how good both of them have been. I mean, even in the case of the Indy Colts, and really actually both of them, but in the case of the Indy Colts, like how many weeks was it into the year? Anthony Richardson goes out for the season. In comes Gardner Minshew, and here they are 9-7. As for the Texans, they had that nasty stretch of injuries, several guys out, and they still, they found their way to 9-7. Both of these teams look incredibly good and have really played very well towards the end of the year. I think both of these fan bases should be very proud of how their season has gone. But pretty much, yeah, a win and in game here. It essentially is a playoff game in Lucas Oil. Gonna be highly entertaining. But I'm going with who's probably going to be the rookie of the year, C.J. Stroud. I got the Houston Texans taking a really close one. Highly entertaining, must-watch TV Saturday night. Gonna be a lot of fun. But I got Houston
Yes,
taking
sir.
it very close, especially now that they're actually healthy.
Yes, sir. And now we go to our Detroit Lions, who have already clinched a playoff spot. I think they've pretty much already
Technical issues here.
guaranteed the 3 seed, 2 seed, but they're at worst at least the 3 seed.
A lot of problems.
Taking on the Minnesota Vikings, who have the chance to win. They're favored by 3.5. Over under is 45.5. Like I said, Lions have already clinched the NFC North. Minnesota can get into the playoffs with a win plus a Green Bay
Loss is what he's going to say.
a loss plus a Seattle loss and either a Tampa Bay or New Orleans.
And
I'm back.
there we go.
Okay, so did you guys get to hear the Minnesota scenarios, or was I just like out of it?
No, it came through eventually.
That's good. That's good. That's good. They've got the most complicated. They need Kirk Cousins back, man. Kirk Cousins is still their leading passer. He hasn't played half the season. Like, part of that is because they've tried 3 different quarterbacks. But
yeah.
Mitch, I'm gonna ask you who you got in this one, but well, I guess we're not really gonna. We might not play a lot of people.
I mean, Lions still have a shot at getting the number 2 seed, depending on what happens in the Cowboy game, because I'm pretty sure the Lions actually would have the tiebreaker over the Eagles. So if Dallas were to lose and Philly were to win a division, the Lions would get number 2. I believe that would be the scenario. But really, after last week, you could see everybody for Detroit was absolutely infuriated. Players, coaches, everybody was just absolutely furious, and I can't blame them. I mean, they got robbed of a possibility of being the number 1 seed, and probably at least being number 2. So I obviously don't blame them whatsoever. I think they were absolutely jobbed. But this Lion team is mad. And when you get a team as good as the Lions mad, it is not going to go well. I think this game is going to be where the Lions send a message and they kind of set the tone for the playoffs. I think this game will be very poor for the Vikings. Poor Vikings are going up against a very mad Lion team. And that is not a good formula for them. Give me the Lions pretty big at Ford Field.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty simple to get the 2 seed. We just need the Commanders to beat the Cowboys and the Giants to beat the Eagles. Is that too much to ask?
Sam's also got the Lions, and I'm assuming you do too.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought
Come on, Tommy DeVito. You stunk at Syracuse, but beat the Eagles, please. All right, and we move on to the Seattle Seahawks on the road against the Arizona Cardinals, who are one of only two teams to beat both the Cowboys and Eagles in the same season in this year.
Which makes no sense, but we'll go with it.
Half their wins are the Cowboys and Eagles, but you know what? We'll go with it. Seattle has a 63% chance to win. Seattle's favored by 2.5 points. Over under is set at 47.5. Seattle is a pretty easy one as well. They just have to win and Green Bay lose or tie. If Green Bay loses or ties and Seattle wins, they will clinch. Basically, they have to have Green Bay lose. If Green Bay doesn't lose or tie, they're screwed. They can't get in. So they're gonna be the biggest Bears fans. Yet again, we come down to Seattle trying to sneak into the 7th seed and needing somebody to beat the Green Bay Packers. Tell me if you've heard this one before.
Yeah, maybe once before, maybe just maybe.
Maybe literally last year, and it was us who got them in.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I'll favor the Seahawks in this game. I'll favor this. I know Cardinals just beat the Eagles, so that means they're ready for a letdown game. I say a letdown game as if they're not 4-12.
Yes.
They have a worse home record than Seattle has a road record.
That's something else. But Sam's also got the Seahawks in Arizona. He's got Seattle taking the win. This is gonna be, I think, a really close game. But I got Seattle still pulling through in the end. Yeah, Arizona beat the Eagles because maybe you don't know, maybe some people do. Their defensive coordinator is Matt Patricia. You wonder why the Eagles are now all of a sudden falling off a cliff and can't beat anybody? Their defensive coordinator is Matt Patricia. There is a problem
and they gave
here.
him full play call. They gave him full play call duties too.
It doesn't matter who the plays are, called or drawn up by. He's the idiot calling them. This is why you're losing. You need to get rid of Matt Patricia. I don't even know how that guy got another job after really even just being the head coach of the Lions, but then for some reason Bill Belichick thought it'd be a great idea to make him the offensive coordinator when he's a defensive guy. But that's just Bill Belichick. I don't understand that guy's logic, and I'm not sure anybody will. But I got Seattle in a close one. I think Arizona makes it competitive, but Seahawks still pull through in the end.
Now we go to a game that just confuses me. We've got the 11-5 playoff-bound Joe Flacco-led Cleveland Browns on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals, who have nothing to play for because they are also already eliminated from the playoffs. Bengals, despite that, are a 7-point favorite because Cleveland's not playing anybody. I don't know who Cincy's going to play either. Cincy's a 54% chance to win. Over under is set at 37.5. The fact that the Lions and the Browns are both 11-win teams right now.
Crazy times.
What are we living in? I don't know, but I love it. If you would have told me the Browns were good, I would have been like, okay, Baker probably kept getting really good, Joe Flacco. Obviously Joe Flacco's the answer. How mad are Jets fans right now?
Very.
This is the first game where there's no playoff implications. I'll go with the home team. I'll go with the Bengals. This is a coin toss because it's like opt-outs in college football bowl games. You don't know who's gonna care.
Yeah, as for Sam, his pick I'm pretty sure is also the Bengals. Yep, it is, and I am picking Cincinnati too. They still have a chance of at least going above 500. And sure, they're already out of the playoffs. Sure, they don't have Joe Burrow. Who really knows if Chase or I was about to say Chase Jamar Chase. Who knows if really Jamar Chase is playing? I know he's been hurt, and out for a few weeks now, but Cleveland's pretty much playing absolutely nobody. I mean, Joe Flacco's not playing. I'm pretty sure that they have a couple defensive guys not playing. They're resting a crud ton of starters. So I'm taking Cincinnati here. I don't think it'll be like a blowout. I think it'll probably be a close game, but the Browns are resting everybody because they're gonna be number 5. It doesn't matter whether they win or lose. They're literally going to be the number 5 seed no matter what they do. So they have absolutely nothing to play for. They have pretty much no motivation to do anything. I got the Bengals at least getting themselves, a above 500 season, ending at 9-8. At least some kind of positive to what has been a tough year.
All right, and now we move to talk about a team that's had a tough year, the Tennessee Titans. They've got Mayo in his coffee. Will Levis as their quarterback, and it has not been that great. I'm not gonna lie to you. But we've got the Jaguars taking on the Titans. Jaguars are looking to clinch a playoff spot. I was wrong earlier. Houston would need Jacksonville to lose too. So Jacksonville's the only one that can win and automatically clinch the AFC South title. So if they win, they'll have back-to-back titles in the AFC South. They are 3-point favorites. They have a 69% chance to win in Tennessee. Over/under set to 41.5. If they don't win this game, that would be really bad. I will say that right now. That they would be really bad if they didn't win this. Travis Etienne's been really, really good this year. Especially, I know in fantasy he was phenomenal. But give me the Jaguars in this one. Trevor Lawrence just got to play a clean game, and Jaguars just got to not beat themselves. They're pretty good on the road. They have a 5-2 road record. So,
yeah, Jags are also the pick for Sam. Really tough season for the Tennessee Titans. Mike Vrabel is a very good head coach, but this team just they're kind of just in the middle of nowhere. They don't really have a great receiving core. They tried to sign DeAndre Hopkins to give them something, and he has been something, but really, other than that, you don't really have many receivers. You have a horrible offensive line, of which Derrick Henry has a very tough time running with because nobody blocks for him. Their QB room has been a gigantic carousel for like the past few years between Ryan Tannehill and every random rookie quarterback they end up drafting. Now it's Will Levis. It's been rough times in Tennessee because they haven't really picked between tearing it down entirely or just simply riding with what they have. So they've done absolutely nothing, and they're just kind of stuck in purgatory, and that's where you see them right now. As for the Jags, they had such an incredible start to this season. 8-2, 8-3, I think. I think it was 8-3.
they started really hot.
Yeah, they had an outstanding start to the year, and then they've had just this absolute epic collapse. Obviously, that coinciding also with a Trevor Lawrence injury that has sort of derailed the end of their season here. They have not looked sharp lately, obviously, and Tennessee's not a great team either. I think, though, that this is going to be a lot closer than people are expecting. These Jags have not played well, and the Titans have pretty much nothing to play for, but they are at home, and they can play for pride and ruin their division rival season. I'll still go with the Jags, though, in a very ugly game, and they will make their way to playing the Browns in the first round.
Okay, so you know how I was talking about how we were talking about some teams that have had rough seasons. Yeah, never mind. This next game is two teams that have had worse and more rough seasons.
Yeah.
We're talking about the New York Jets on the road taking on the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
Imagine benching your starting quarterback 4 times.
Pretty bad. Yeah.
And then for the Jets, their season was over after about 3 plays.
Pretty much, yeah.
lasted 3 plays, 0 yards, 0 completion. New England is a 2-point favorite. New England's a 2-point favorite. They're 54% chance to win. 30.5 is the over-under. That's almost getting to Rutgers, Iowa status of over-under levels. Zach Wilson
it
has
made it
one
to
more touch.
30.
Who's the starting quarterback for the Jets this week? I don't even know.
Yeah, was it the 8th guy they're probably on by now? Is it back
And
to Zach Wilson? I don't even know.
Mac Jones has more interceptions than touchdowns. I don't care who wins this. I don't know who's gonna win this. Give me New York because they're slightly better. New England's been a disaster. Belichick is nothing without Brady. I'm just kidding. But it's he's also dealing with Mac Jones as his quarterback. It's kind of hard to win with Mac Jones as your quarterback.
Yeah, both of these teams are pretty pathetic. Sam has the Jets as well, knocking off New England. I'm going with the Patriots, but I'm going with the Patriots just because I feel like Bill Belichick is looking to save his job because they really go 4-13. I think there's going to be a lot of questions that are going to start stirring up about Belichick. I think
There's gonna be
I think his job is. Well, I think both of these guys' jobs are possibly on the line, but specifically Belichick's, I think, is really on the line right now. So I think he gets the win at home to at least kind of, kind of soothe some people's frustration this year. So give me New England. Boston Red Sox get a couple homers. They win 6-2. Like, really?
Oh my goodness. All right, well we go to the Saints and the Falcons. I gotta pull up the scenarios for these guys because this is just crazy. All right, Saints have a 60% chance to win. They are 3-point favorites, and the over/under is 42.5. The Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta will clinch the NFC South with a win, plus a Tampa Bay loss. Otherwise, they are eliminated. New Orleans wins the division with a Tampa Bay loss and a win, obviously, or a tie and a Tampa Bay loss. Basically, both these teams need Tampa Bay to lose. New Orleans, however, can still make the playoffs if they don't win, or if they don't win the division. But they would have to have Seattle and Green Bay lose.
Yep.
Yeah. Derek Carr's been playing better. I'm gonna take the team that doesn't have Desmond Ridder as their starting quarterback, unless Taylor Heineke's back to starting. I'm gonna take the Saints.
I don't know who it is really for not for New Orleans, or for Atlanta. But yeah, Sam also has the Saints getting the win here, home in New Orleans, and so do I. Arthur Smith should be long gone by the end of this year, and if he isn't, I think there might be an outcry and a petition by every single Atlanta Falcons fan to literally get the man out of town. I mean, if I'm a Falcons fan, I would be just livid. I mean, this guy has found a way to make this team so much worse than it really could be. I mean, you have Bijan Robinson. You have Kyle Pitts. You have Drake London. So what are we going to do? We're going to play Tyler Algier, Miko Pruitt, and Jonnu Smith. And you also have no quarterback to throw to any of them on top of it. So, yeah, it's not good. If Atlanta really wants to succeed, he needs to go. When fans can tell that this is just so stupid and this doesn't make any sense to bench a Pro Bowler when the Pro Bowler is playing just fine and has zero problems, or benching a rookie who you literally just drafted in the top 10 for a guy who was like a 5th rounder a year ago and was, solid, but a 5th rounder. I think everybody in Atlanta is ready to be done with Arthur Smith, and they should be. But I got New Orleans taking this one. It should be kind of competitive just because both QBs are not special, but I think the Saints still get the win. They have the significantly better defense, and yeah, I don't care who's the
Pretty
quarterback
much.
for Atlanta. They both suck.
Yeah, and if Atlanta wanted to make it, they would have to have Tampa Bay lose. But going into the next game, I don't think Tampa Bay is going to lose. If they do, they just should be banned from the playoffs for 3 years. You've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going on the road to Mr. Owner throws a drink at a Jaguars fan, Carolina Panthers. 2-14 Carolina Panthers, who, by the way, don't even own their first overall pick. Yeah,
Nope, the
it's been
Bears
a
have it.
disaster.
Yeah,
It's been a disaster.
yeah.
They gave away a great wide receiver and their first round pick and a bunch of other things and picked the wrong quarterback. Now, I'm not saying Bryce Young can't have a good career, but CJ Stroud looks like that guy. I'll just say that. CJ Stroud is making the Panthers look dumb. Anyway, Buccaneers are a 71% chance to win. Over under is set at 37.5. They are a 4.5 point favorite. Tampa Bay simply wins, and they win the NFC South. Why is the South divisions? Why are both South divisions just so like?
It feels like
I
they
get
sucked for like 3,
they're
4
mid.
years.
They're just all in the middle. They're all in the middle of the pack. So they win, super easy. They're in. They could also tie and New Orleans tie or loss. But if they don't win the division, their best bet is to tie and have Seattle and Green Bay lose. So basically, it's just win and in. You're playing the Panthers. I'm gonna take the Bucks in this one. Just going out on a limb here.
Yeah. So the pick for Sam, I'm expecting it to be Tampa. Let me find. Yeah, he has the Bucks. Yeah, I mean, I think pretty much anyone with a brain would pick Tampa. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bucks too. Now, I do think that this actually might be. I think it's going to be close to start. Like Tampa kind of. They come out a little sluggish. They expect to just kind of roll over the Panthers, and then the Panthers actually give them a little bit of a fight. And until Tampa, they wake up probably and they slowly, just put it away and end up winning pretty easily. I think it'll be a slow start, but Tampa eventually just, kind of slowly yet surely takes over the game and ends up taking it for themselves. Winning their third straight division title, actually, it would be.
That's crazy. They still didn't drop off after. Well, they dropped off after Brady left, but the rest of the division just stinks that
bad.
You can lose Tom Brady and still win. Baker Mayfield's played pretty well, and Rachaad White's been huge, except Rachaad White had a terrible week in the championship week, which really, really made it more of a nail biter than it needed to be. Oh my goodness. Khalil Herbert had 20 on my bench too. It was absurd. Anyway, we're gonna go on. We've got the Green Bay Packers at home taking on the Chicago Bears. Packers are a 57% chance to win. They're 3-point favorites. Over under is set to 45.5. Wow, Packers are ending a season against a division rival that they normally kick the crap out of at Lambeau Field, needing to win and in. Stop me where you've heard this one before.
Just possibly, just maybe.
Except this time it's the Bears, who they have just destroyed constantly. Even the beginning game of the season in Chicago, they just obliterated them. Jordan Love's looked good. As much as I hate to pick them, I'm gonna pick the Packers. And just Philly or Dallas, please obliterate them. Or if the Rams lose, then we get to play them in the first round.
Yep.
Don't worry, guys. We're not playing them on Thanksgiving. As long as we play them on a non-Thanksgiving day, we can beat them.
Yep.
But we lost. We lost because we're cursed on Thanksgiving. That's it. But Packers win this one.
Yeah. So Sam actually did take the Chicago Bears. I really thought he would go.
Nice.
I really thought he would go with Green Bay because I'm actually taking the Bears. Look, I mean, this is more. This might more so just be me being hopeful and hoping that Green Bay just loses again and goes out of playoffs again. But this is a similar case to last year, with the only difference being the Lions weren't getting obliterated like the Bears have been for like the past decade. The Lions actually had won a couple times against Green Bay. Chicago hasn't. Like they've been just absolutely demolished year after year after year. But I think that's part of why this game could end up being an upset because the Bears were in the playoff chase for pretty much the entire year until this week. They got eliminated from playoff contention this week. Now they're heading to Green Bay, and it's just like the Lions. It's the same scenario. This Bears team has absolutely nothing to play for. They have, well, I shouldn't say they have absolute. What I meant was they have absolutely nothing to lose. They already are out of playoff contention. They're already done with that. They already have the number one pick from the Panthers. They couldn't care less what happens in this game. So if they can beat their Packers and just absolutely destroy their division rival season, finally beat them for the first time in what would feel like forever, they're absolutely going to take that chance. And they are playing a lot better towards the end of the year here. Green Bay's defense has been an absolute nightmare. And I don't know if Green Bay can really keep up with the Bears if they really keep scoring constantly, which I think they will because Green Bay just doesn't know what to do on defense. So I got the Bears in an upset. I thought the Bears would beat Green Bay at the beginning of the year too, and then they got just absolutely smacked. But you know, we'll see. We'll see. we'll see what happens. But I got the Bears.
The worst part is I was thinking about picking the Bears, but then I was looking at the schedule and just was reminded about week 1, and I was just like, I can't. I can't. It's too bad. All right, we've got a game that means nothing, so we're gonna breeze by this one pretty quick. We've got the Raiders and the Broncos. I think like the Raiders winning like helps one team, but neither of these teams can make the playoffs. Vegas is a 3-point favorite, 54% chance to win, over under set at 37.5. I will fade the home team. Both these teams suck. They don't suck. I'm sorry, Sam. Your Raiders don't suck. Both these teams are not that good. How about that? And the Broncos aren't playing Russell Wilson, so they don't have to pay him more money. So
I still think that is so incredibly stupid. But you're taking Raiders?
I'm taking Raiders.
All right. You can take a wild guess who Sam is taking. He's got the Raiders, shockingly. And yeah, I'm taking Vegas too. Like, look, I will never trust Jarrett Stidham. I don't care. It's Jarrett. I don't care if it's Aiden O'Connell. I will never trust Jarrett Stidham. Just no. I still think Denver is incredibly stupid for benching Russell Wilson. I mean, he was having a fine season. Was he, being what he was with Seattle? No. But to bench him, I think is just absolutely asinine. And yeah, Denver's just they're a hot mess, and they've been a hot mess for a while.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to say to Bronco fans, but yeah, it's tough. Give me Vegas. So
All right, we've got Tommy DeVito and the New York Giants taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously Giants, because I want the two. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. I'm not even gonna. I mean, okay. I think Philly needs a win and a Dallas loss.
yep.
Philly, they need a win, loss or tie. They'll get the win. I'm not even gonna go over everything. Eagles will get the win here. I think. What am I talking about? This team just lost to the Cardinals. There's nothing guaranteed about this team. except for the fact that they seem to always kick the Giants' butts. So I'll take the Eagles still.
And Sam is also taking Philly, and yeah, I will be too. The Giants are just not a great team, and as much as it is Matt Patricia as the defensive coordinator, surely he can't lose to the Giants, right? Like, surely he's not that incompetent. That nothing says that he isn't, but surely he's not that bad. But I'll take the Eagles. It'll probably be a close game just because Philly has been that bad lately. But I still got Philly.
Yeah. Chiefs and Chargers. Again, a game that does not matter. Chiefs have a 50% chance to win. Over under is 35.5. Chargers are a 3.5 point favorite. I think the Chiefs backups can kick this team's butt. This team lost by like 50 to the Raiders, who got shut out the week before.
Yeah.
They were losing like 63-7 to a Raiders team that got shut out the week prior and lost 3-0. Is their backup quarterback still Chad Henne? No, Blaine Gabbert. Oh, well, maybe not as. I wish it was Chad Henne, because Chad Henne every time he's come in as a backup, as a backup for the Chiefs, he's looked phenomenal. I still don't
I
care.
think he's retired now.
That's probably true. You could put the Chiefs third stringers out there, and they'd probably beat this Chargers team. Give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, Sam has also got Kansas City, and obviously I do too. Kansas City is resting like a billion people. There's no Pat Mahomes. There's no Travis Kelce. I don't think there's any Isaiah Pacheco. I mean, they are resting a lot of players, but this is the Herbertless LA Chargers. Like, Justin Herbert kept this team afloat when he was still playing. Justin Herbert is long gone. This team sucks. Give me Kansas City.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, we move on to the Los Angeles Rams taking on the 49ers in a decently unimportant game. The only thing that can change is if the Rams lose, they can fall from the 6th seed to the 7th seed. Which, to be fair, if I'm the Rams, and I love my Lions, no disrespect to my Lions, I'd rather play the Lions. Well, no, because the Lions almost beat the Cowboys. What am I talking about? I'd actually probably rather play the Cowboys in the playoffs. It's the freaking Cowboys. They always choke. Well, unless they choke in the divisional round. But 49ers definitely don't have anything to play for. Not a chance. They're gonna sit everybody there. They got the 1 seed locked up. They're 4-point favorites, 68% chance to win. That being said, I think the Rams will still play a decent bit of their guys. They probably won't play Stafford because he's old and could get injured. But I mean, they'll probably start like Stetson Bennett. They'll have probably Puka still out there. Some people still out there. Give me the Rams. Give me the Rams to get to 10-7 and set up a Stafford in Ford Field playoff game.
Which would be absolutely crazy, having Stafford come back to Detroit for the first time since the trade, and it would be for a playoff game. The first playoff game ever in Ford Field history would be absolutely wild. Sam has also got the LA Rams, and I do too. San Fran just has absolutely nothing to play for. There is no Christian McCaffrey. There is no Brock Purdy. I don't even think George Kittle's playing. I'm not sure Debo or Ayuk are playing. I mean, it's all backups pretty much for San Francisco. And, they have zero motivation to even win this one. Who knows how many fans are even going to be there for San Fran, knowing that everybody's being benched. I think the Rams will win this one just simply because San Fran is not playing and anybody of any importance at all.
Yep. And now we move on to a game where they will probably be playing a lot of their starters because they would rather have the 2 seed than the 5th seed. You will have the Dallas Cowboys on the road taking on the Washington Commanders. Unsurprisingly, Dallas is a 13-point favorite. Unsurprisingly, they have an 84% chance to win. Unsurprisingly, the over/under is 46. Surprisingly, I'm taking the commit. I'm just kidding. I'm taking the Cowboys. They'll lock up the 2 seed, even though they don't deserve it. Well, they deserve it. They played well all season. Should be us, but we won't get into that.
Nah,
we won't get into that.
we don't
But
need to. No.
But it's okay. Dallas will choke in the divisional round anyway.
They always do.
Yeah, we know how to go in. We know how to go in there and win now. So, but Dallas will win this game and clinch the NFC East.
Yeah, Sam has also got the Cowboys winning this one. This is going to be a game for Dallas of which they just absolutely obliterate Washington and they, take care of business, or they get upset. I think there is no in between. They either absolutely demolish Washington or they end up losing, and Washington shocks the league. But I think it's going to be the former. I think Dallas is going to absolutely dog walk the Commanders. Won't be close.
Yeah, and now we move to the most important game of the week: the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. Buffalo is a 54% chance to win in Hard Rock Stadium. Buffalo is a 3-point favorite. They have been playing pretty well as of recent. They've gone on a nice little 4-game winning streak, including crushing the Cowboys and beating the Chiefs. But they have also coupled that with a 2-point win against the Chargers and a 6-point win against the Patriots. So as usual, I cannot tell what to think of this Bills team. Bills are easy. They win. They get the stinking 2 seed. And they win the division and take the 2 seed. They lose. They lose. And the Steelers win. I believe it's just if they lose and the Steelers win, they're out entirely.
I think so.
That is insanity.
It is. It really is.
But since the Dolphins, since the Dolphins have been, they're gonna play. So give me the Dolphins in this one.
All right, Srbensky takes Miami at home. I'm pretty sure that Sam has the Bills in this one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he does have the Bills on the road. And I do too. I think the Bills get the win here. Miami's got a really good team. They got a fun head coach and all. But this Bills team, their backs are against the wall. They pretty much have to win this one. Obviously, if the Steelers lose, they still would get in, I'm pretty sure. But in any case, I think the Bills. They're playing like the better team right now. Miami has been kind of flopping around lately, no pun intended. But Miami also just lost Bradley Chubb for the year. Yeah, that's a tough loss, especially with him being a massive part of the Dolphin defense. So this should be a very close game. I think it's gonna flip a coin. Could be anybody's game, but I'm going with the Bills on the road here, and a very tight one, and what should be a very fun and highly entertaining game. What a pick for Sunday Night Football, really. Last year.
Didn't they flex it in?
Well, they always do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
do. But yeah, they did a great job picking this one.
Exactly. Well, thank you all for watching. Enjoy the final week. We will be back after this weekend with our playoff picks, including if you're available tomorrow, we can try to do the championship preview and the New Year's Six review, because I gotta hop off now, but we can try to do like the championship preview. We want to get a championship preview out because obviously this championship's the most important college football national championship game to us, and ever. So
I'll have a little
first
bit of
time-
time tomorrow.
first-
So yeah.
with how many championships Michigan has won, this is their first ever time playing in an actual title game because they didn't exist last time they won.
Pretty crazy to think about.
Pretty crazy. They should just look. A side note: it's Michigan, Washington. Just screw Houston. Move the game to Pasadena. Let's do it again in the Rose Bowl for the national championship. Come on.
Yeah,
Last year,
let's do it.
it's the last year. It's the last year of the Pac-12. Come on.
They won't.
All right. Well, we'll see you all. Thank you for watching. Peace.
Adios, everybody.